What's up, guys? I'm Just Add Ice, and today I'm going to be talking about why I'm scared of talking to girls. Now, when I say that I'm scared of talking to girls, I'm not kidding, guys. There would be this girl in front of me in class, and I would want to go and talk to her, but my whole body just starts to sweat. My palms are sweaty. I start to get really nervous, and I start to overthink things in my head, like scenarios, like what if she says this? What if I say that? And then my chest, my heart starts beating so fast to where it feels like it's about to just pop out of my chest. That's how nervous I get. And so today I want to talk about why I'm so scared of talking to girls and my experiences with talking to girls so far. And before I get into it, if you could help me out and click the subscribe button, it would really help out the channel out and I would appreciate it. So I think that I'm going to have to take this back to my high school days. So back when I was in high school, I would always just hang out with, my homies, and we would just, always be having fun in classes and in lunches. But I would never even like talk to girls in high school because I was always a very nervous kid growing up. I didn't have much confidence. I was always really insecure. I had low self-esteem, and I just didn't really think highly of myself when I was a kid in high school. And so I just always felt like I couldn't like talk to girls. Like in my mind, I thought like they were these like mystical creatures, right? Like there's some type of rare species that like only the worthy people can talk to, or like they just seem so out of reach to me, or it just seems like girls like they're up at this level and then I'm just like at this bottom level where it just seems like it's not even worth it for me to go talk to them, because in my mind I just always had this perception where it's like a 100% rejection at all times. So I just didn't want to feel rejected. And I think the whole environment in high school where it's like, you confess to a girl, let's say, right? Like that information is going to circle around. Everybody's going to start to hear it, and everybody's going to start to tease you about it, or just think, oh yeah, you did this. But now that I think about it, I probably should have just taken more risks and just talked to more girls. Now, that's not to say that I didn't necessarily have any friends that are girls. Like I would have like normal conversations like here and there, but like I would never like hung out with a girl after school, and I would never like talk to them like outside of their classes. Like, okay, we just finish up math class and then we just move on, right? And that's about all the interaction that I got with girls in high school. And that's only for the first 2 years, because mostly my last 2 years of high school got cut off because of the whole situation that happened in 2020. And bringing that to today, now that I'm a university student, now that I'm a bit older and I've got more experience talking to girls, I start to realize that these girls are actually not as scary as I thought they were. Sure, I still get nervous when I talk to them, but they're not like this mystical being that I have it in my mind. They're just another normal human being that just wants to be talked to. It just wants to be treated normally. And so I realized that, hey, this is my chance to just go talk to girls more, and I don't have to be afraid of like the high school aspect where, oh, rumors will start to spread around and people will start to talk about it. It's like there's so many people at the campus, there's so many people just all around you, you don't have to worry about that. So I bring this up because I'm in one of my classes, and this class is like a pretty small class where there's only around like 20 people. It's like a pretty small room. And so last week, the teacher assigned us into these group projects where we have to be in pairs, and I was one of those students who I didn't have a partner because I didn't really know anyone in the class. And with how the class is structured, you don't really have that much time to just like talk. Like if you arrive early, maybe you have like a couple minutes to just like talk, but everybody just is like really quiet, and it's just like the class starts, the teachers teaches what they teach, boom, that's done, and everybody just rushes out the door, right? So I was one of those students who like raised up their hand, and then I look behind me and there's like maybe like 5 to 10 students who also raised their hands. So the teacher just like wrote the names down, and then like the next day they assigned us with like random partners. And so I walked into the class that day, and then the teacher was like, hey, like, are you okay with being assigned to this person? And this person's like a girl, so I'll just call her G, right? And so I look behind me and I see G, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, let's be partners, right? And in that class, I was sitting in the middle row where she was just sitting behind me in the back row. And as the clock started ticking and I see the clock and there's like 5 minutes left until class is dismissed, I start to panic again. I start to get nervous. I start to overthink things. I'm starting to think like, oh my gosh, like, I mean, she's my partner, so I should be the first person to just go up to her and just ask like, hey, like, can I get your Instagram so then we can like keep in touch and like work on this, project together? But I was so freaking nervous. Like my chest was beating so fast. My heart was like at like 90 beats per minute. It felt like, it felt just really, really nerve wracking to me. And so as the clock ticked along and boom, class was dismissed. And this is exactly what happened. So I packed up my things and I exit off my left side where there's a stair going down. And so I exited out and I see that the girl was behind me. And so I just talked to her and I was just asking her like, hey, how do you feel about the project? And then she was just saying like, yeah, I feel fine about it, you know. And I was like, yeah, you know, I feel pretty okay about it too. I gotta, you know, study up on some things here and there. And so we talked for a bit and then we both exited out the door. And so we just kept on walking and we were just having some small talk, like getting to know her and stuff like that. And then she mentioned how she's a part of a club. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And I didn't know it, but the club room was literally like 2 steps away from where my classroom was. And then we literally talked for 2 minutes and then her club room is right there. And she's like, yeah, I gotta go to my club room now. And I said, oh yeah, that's fine, like peace out. And I also got her Instagram, by the way. So we were like, okay, cool, I got that down, let's go. And so that brings us to this week where yesterday, it was like the same class. I came into the class again. And here's the thing, since it's like a very small room and as soon as you open the door, this is what's going through my mind. I'm like looking at the whole class, right? Because like everybody just kind of sits randomly. There's like no assigned seating. So I literally have to make a decision within the split second. I'm like, okay, where do I sit, right? And I look around and I usually sit between like the middle to the back row. And I see that the same girl that I was assigned to, she was kind of sitting in like the back row again. So I was like, okay, this is where I can sit next to her, right? But I kind of wussed out at the end and then I sit in the very back row where I was right behind her this time, right? And so class just went on as usual. And then it's that time again, you know, 5 minutes until the class is dismissed. I start to get really nervous again. My palms are sweaty. My chest starts to beat really fast. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I need to talk with her again. I need to just get to know her and work on this project together. You know, I don't really like to text. I rather just get to know someone just from like meeting them and talking like to them face to face. But unfortunately, today was not a good day because as soon as class was dismissed, I saw she was packing up her things. So I was like packing up my things to like match her speed, right? But as soon as she was done packing, she just like walked out and then she left. And so I was trying to like catch up to her. And so I was literally right behind her, but then she turned to the right again and I was like, oh, like should I follow her? Should I just like go right up to her left side and just be like, hey, like what's up? But then literally in that 1 second, I chose to turn to the left and I was like, oh, like I missed out on my chance again, you know? And so I did that and then immediately afterwards, I felt like, oh my God, like I just missed out on another chance to talk with her, right? Like I just need to man up and just like talk to her as a friend. Like I just need like it's like we're in like a group project together, so like I should be talking to her anyways, but I'm just so freaking nervous and I'm so like overthinking things and I'm just so like just nervous and everything. I like there was so many things going on in my mind, so I was just like, oh my gosh, like I missed out on my chance again. I guess I'll just have to try again. But I know that the longer I put this off, the worse it's gonna be because we're gonna have less time together to actually just talk and get to know her and to work on the project together. But more importantly, you know, that's just gonna make things even more awkward, right? So I know that I just need to talk with her. And then afterwards, I had like another class where I realized that, hey, another girl from my previous class is in the same class as me. And so the class just went on as usual. This was like in a bigger lecture hall, so it was like people were spread out everywhere. But I was sitting in like a seat where it was like in the back again. But I see her walking in through the door, and this is like a different girl, right? So I see her, we make eye contact for 1 second, and she also walks all the way to the back, where she was in the same row as me, where she was just 2 seats down. And so I knew in that instant that, yeah, she probably also wants to talk to me because she also realized that we're in the same class as well. And so after class was done, I was still very nervous. You know, she was just another ordinary girl. You know, nothing was special about her. But I was like, you know, I already missed out on my chance today. You know, I already fumbled the bag. I have to try again. So I literally stood up, right? I packed my things. I stood up and then I walked 2 seats down. She's sitting right there. And I just talked to her. I was like, hey, like, what did you think about, like, that lecture? And she was like, yeah, the lecture, you know, was fine. It was, like, kind of long. And I was like, yeah, you know, I feel the same way. You know, it was kind of getting boring. I was about to, like, fall asleep, right? And so, you know, we actually just had some small talk as well, same thing. And then we just started, like, walking out as we were talking again. And then we stepped out and I was like, hey, since we're in that same class, can I get your Instagram? Because, like, if you need help or if I need help, like, we can text each other, right? And she was like, yeah, of course. And then she gave me her Instagram. And so we talked a bit more after that. And she was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to take the bus home. and I was like, okay, I'm going this way, and then we're just like, bye, bye. And with each of these interactions, one thing that I realized is that the sigh of relief after talking, right? The sigh of relief, the feeling of like the weight off my shoulder just feels so relieving. It feels like, man, like that wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was. It was actually like kind of easy. And I have all these like scenarios in my head, like, oh, like if she says this, I'll say this to her back, but then I'll ask her this, and then she'll say this back. But in reality, when you're talking to a girl, you just gotta say whatever comes to your mind, right? Like you just gotta use your natural words and just talk what's on your mind. There's no point of like pre-planning this stuff, because there's always going to be something different that comes up in the conversation, so you can't plan this shit out, right? And so what I realized that a lot of the times I make it very, very hard for myself. I always make it to where it's like this impossible task where it feels like it's life or death. Like if I do this, I win. If I don't do this, then I die. Or if I do it, but then I messed up somehow, then it's completely ruined. But every single time after you do the thing, you feel better about yourself. Like this was a good exercise, right? This is to build up my confidence. This is to build up my experience, so that the more I talk to girls, the more I'll be comfortable with this, so I won't get as nervous next time. And so that's what I have to share with you guys today. If you have your stories about talking to girls, or if you feel like this way as well, comment down below, and I would love to read them, and give me some advice as well to how to overcome this nervousness, because I'm not gonna lie, I still get really, really nervous to talk to girls and stuff like that. So if you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.